Good morning, everyone. As part of the study of cells, we're going to continue with the cell membrane today. So you have practice labeling the membrane, you have some questions on a video from Bozeman Science on the membrane. But one of the diagrams I wanted you to get also from Biology Corner looks like this. It's part of the animal and plant cell, which are just practice for you. But I wanted to speak just a few minutes on these two diagrams. Let's look at the bottom one first on the endomembrane system. This is part of the concept that the cell is not empty space with just little bits of organelles here and there. Everything connects in order to make all the metabolic activities work together. And this is kind of a good way to introduce that. So, in the endomembrane system, the theory is that everything is connected. These are not separate organelles. And so, look at your diagram there, and I'll help you label it and then speak to what everything does. So, number one is the rough endoplasmic reticulum. And you can see that it is contiguous. In other words, it connects to two, which is the entire structure of the nucleus. Three would be the nuclear envelope or nuclear membrane. Four would be the nuclear pore. And remember, I said the other day there are large openings because of RNA that has to get out, which is a large molecule. And five, it shows the little tiny ribosomes that are on the ER. They're also scattered in the cytoplasm. Six would be the smooth ER. And again, you can see that it's sort of contiguous with the rough ER. Seven would be a vesicle, a transport vesicle, which has come from or been produced by eight, which is the Golgi apparatus. And so you can follow making of a protein and where it's going to go in the cell, starting with the DNA and RNA in the nucleus, going to the two ERs because it may be modified in the smooth ER. Remember, that's also where the lipids are made, packaged in the Golgi body, and then transported to the membrane. And if you look at below number 8, you see a little bubble in the membrane, and that's the vesicle fusing with the cell membrane in order to export a protein. And 9, of course, is the cell membrane, even though they didn't give you a number for it. But again, the idea behind the endomembrane system is that it's a group of organelles that work to make proteins, process them, and then transport them either to where they go in the cell or out of the cell. Okay, so let's go back up to the top diagram, how these proteins are packaged. And again, I'll go through them with you. There's a couple in here that are a little bit more technical than you need, but it's kind of a good way of visualizing, again, how this process happens. So again, number 1 is pointing to the nucleus, with number 2 being the nuclear pore. Number 3 is the rough ER, and you can see the ribosomes on it. 4 is the smooth ER. 5 are pointing to the ribosomes, and remember there are thousands of ribosomes per cell. 6 is actually meant to be a protein, a polypeptide that has been produced by linking all these amino acids together. And it's going to be transported to the Golgi body. Now, they have, I believe, the cis face and the trans face. Again, that's a little more technical than we need, but the cis face simply means the receiving end of the Golgi body, and the trans face would be the transporting end where it's finished. So 7 is the Golgi body, and this vesicle or this protein is going to the cis face. 8 is the entire Golgi body or apparatus. 9 is called the cisternae, and you can see how to spell it in the word bank above. That's just all the different folds and the area in between the folds in the Golgi body. 10 is a vesicle, which then will either be fused to the membrane or moved somewhere else in the cell. And 11 is pointing again to that trans face, the end of the processing in the Golgi bodies. So again, we've learned about the structure of the organelles, what all the organelles are. Now we're talking about what is happening with one of the major things that happens in the cell, which is to produce proteins. Remember, up to 100,000 different proteins per cell. And this is how the organelles make and process them and kind of the order in which it goes. Thanks.